Hello and welcome to my friends and followers here at Weightless. My name is Jen Espinosa-Goswami. I'm super excited to share with you one of my previous coaches, Jennifer Ally Kern. She is joining us today to talk about drama and how to drama-proof your mind during these extremely chaotic and uncertain times of the pandemic. So I'm super excited to share her with you. Say hi, Jennifer.
Hello, darling. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Jen.
Oh, absolutely. She's joining us from Florida, so she's not experiencing the rain that we have here in Minnesota, but we're happy to have you no matter which way you come.
Yeah. I might be a little
Before
rosy. We were sitting at the pool today in the afternoon complaining about how hot it is. And
Oh,
then looking
stop.
at all of the northern weather. I was with a lady from New Jersey and a lady from Chicago, and we were checking out all the northern weather and cringing for all of you on your behalf while we struggled. You were in our
Well, thank
thoughts.
you for the thoughts. Yeah, the thoughts are always pleasant. Even though I'm kind of hating you a little bit right now, it's okay. It's okay. We have beautiful
I
Minnesota
thought we should
summers,
start
so.
this on a good note, right?
Right. Okay. So a few administrative things for those of you who are joining us live. First of all, if you are joining live, say hi to us because we are real people and we're here to say hi back to you. And don't hesitate to ask any questions during the course of this interview. StreamYard is my service. So if you see a link there, if you click on that link, StreamYard will give me access to your name. So please click the link so I can see your name as you're saying hi and telling us where you're joining live from. We would love to go global if we can, but happy to say hi to anyone across the world who's joining us for this video. Share with us your comments and thoughts, and this replay of the video will be up through Saturday, May 8th. So if you're like, I have to hop off, totally okay. We appreciate you. The replay will be available for you to return to, but make sure you do it before Saturday because that's how much time you have to do that. So thank you for joining us. And let me give a proper introduction to Jennifer because I've worked with Jennifer before. I know what kind of work she does. I'm super excited. She's done a lot of shifting during pandemic, like most of us have, and a lot of it is very exciting. So I'm happy to share her with you. But let me give Jennifer a proper introduction. Jennifer Ally Kern is a higher consciousness consultant, keynote speaker, Akashic Records master healer, and national award-winning author. She has a BBA in international business, an MS in psychology, and has been serving people around the world since she opened her business called Intrinsic SOULutions in 2009. Jennifer specializes in working with women entrepreneurs, leaders, and healers to joyfully navigate the awakening journey, which we'll be hearing more about this afternoon. Her teaching methods and proven process launch women into living their soul's potential, manifesting their desires, and making a big positive impact in this wild human realm while having ease and fun along the way. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. I'm just happy to be here, Jen.
Always a pleasure to share you. You have many gifts to share with the world, so thank you for taking time today.
Yeah.
I would love to dive into a little bit of your background and experience because, that's a really impressive bio. So some people may be curious about what some of your titles mean. So if you're okay with having fun with this, can we launch into some questions around your background?
Far away.
All right. So initially, you and I connected through your lead and alignment program, which I understand has shifted a little bit. I'm sure you'll share more about that. We worked on the mechanics of manifestation in that program. What does manifestation mean to you?
So to me, manifestation is the process of taking something that's originally spiritual or non-physical in nature and materializing it or bringing it into the physical world. That would be like the bottom line way that I can articulate that. So to put it in like practical terms, it's really how you so the baseline assumption here is that you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And your spirituality is first and foremost your core nature and your core essence. The assumption is also that your unique soul came into this human life in order to have certain experiences, to learn certain lessons, have certain kinds of growth. And excuse me, that comes through the manifestation process. It's the process of living your life where your soul's agenda and goals get to come to fruition through you as its human counterpart. Does that make sense the way I just said that, Jen?
That sounds like a big work.
It sounds like big.
A lot
and you know, it's
of work. So can you?
Yeah, your connection's a little bit choppy, so I'm not catching everything that you're saying. And now you're frozen. I feel like we need the Frozen song.
I just said it sounded like a lot. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
We'll let it go.
I can hear you loud and clear.
You do? You hear me? Okay, your screen was freezing, so I'm not quite sure what the question is at this juncture.
The question was around manifesting sounds like a lot of work and a big deal. How can we make that a little more concrete and tangible for people?
Okay. So manifesting is actually super simple. You're manifesting things in your life all the time. Everything that you're experiencing in your world is in part of built into your soul's agenda. There is nothing in your life that you experience that is not somehow scripted into it by your soul as part of this life journey that it gets to have through you. But within that agenda, there are a lot of different potentials. And that's where your human free will choice comes into play. So every time you make a decision, every time you choose something, whether it's conscious or unconscious, whether it's out of default habit or really intentional, either way, you're manifesting the next experience that you have. Does that make sense? I think you might be frozen again, Jen. I might have to stop asking if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep, you're choppy, my dear. You might have to chat to me. Just checking to see if I can hear you again. Am I coming through clearly?
Okay.
Let me know if I can hear you now. Okay, looks like Jen's having a refresh. I'm not sure if you guys can still see and hear me. So I'm just going to pause and wait. Let's see if we get Jen back. In the meantime, let me tell you a little story. In case we're still live. There's a little girl, decides she's going to go out for the softball team. She's about 10 or 11 years old, spunky, fun. Do we have you back, Jen?
I'm here.
Now I can hear you. Okay, I was going to tell the story, but I didn't get far enough into it.
Please do. Go for it.
No, it was just something to fill the space while we were waiting for you. It had nothing to do with what I'm going to show you. Had nothing to do with manifestation. We'll come back to it.
Okay. All right, cool. So we talked a little bit about manifestation and what that looks like and how simple it could be. Now we wanted to talk about drama.
Okay. Let me
drama, like obviously today.
Walk you through the process of manifestation though really quickly, because then we're going to relate it to drama. So Jen knows me, you guys, and she knows that I'm a whiteboard junkie. I actually bought this whiteboard in Fort Wayne, Indiana, a couple of years ago when I was nomading through the middle of the United States. And I have this little white BMW convertible. She's called the Sexy Beast. She's white on the outside with red leather interior. And I bought this thing while I was driving around. So I just threw it in the back and it would just sat there flapping while I was driving across country. So this whiteboard's been everywhere. All right, manifestation. So we're going to think about, is that color okay? Can you see it?
Nope. No.
Okay. No, that one either. Let's see how we do. We have a winner? Here we go. So we're going to think about, this is we'll call this universe. We're going to call this the non-physical realm. Okay. So this would be the universe, energy, the non-physical world, all that is, however you think about that. And then down here, we have the material world, which is like Earth. Okay. And this is your human experience down here. Okay. So there's a gap between this non-physical space and then the physical space. And the way that energy goes from non-physical into physical is through the manifestation process. And that happens through you. So there's this aspect of the non-physical, that's you, that's your soul. And your soul gets projected into this physical world. Now, in order to get around, your soul has to have a body. Right? Your body is the physical aspect of you. This is the non-physical aspect of you. And your soul can't just work your body without going through the space in between. And that space in between is your brain, where you think, and then it's your heart, where you feel. So your soul has this agenda, has this ideas of things that it wants to do and experience and create in this world. And it needs your partnership, your human partnership. So it starts to give you ideas. It starts to give you inspirations. It starts to give you urges. It starts to give you really desires. Desire is the realm of the soul. And then those desires get translated into thoughts. I think I want this, or I'd like that, or wouldn't it be great if? And then as you think about those thoughts, you start to feel good. So we would call these positive thoughts. And then those positive thoughts, you feel good. Yeah? And as you focus on those things, you start to take action that will lead you to a manifestation. If you don't take action, the manifestation doesn't come. If you don't have the idea, the manifestation doesn't come. If you don't have an emotion that's moving you, a desire, a longing, an excitement, an interest that moves you forward, it doesn't come. So that's just the very simple way to talk about the process of manifestation. You ask about drama, Jen, and drama is any kind of internal pattern that blocks you from allowing what your soul is calling for to come through. That's not the formal definition that I have of drama, but that's the way drama fits into this. Because drama is going to put you into a negative state. So you're going to be thinking in a way that's disempowered. It tends to be a reactive kind of thinking. It'll be protective in nature. It comes in the form of like, I can't, or I shouldn't, or they might not like it if. It comes in the form of doubts, right? And that's going to naturally put you into a negative state. You're going to feel bad because it's out of alignment with what your soul is calling you to. But either way, you're going to still be manifesting something because this energy is always moving through you. So what you're manifesting in your life has everything to do with what's going on in your beautiful brain and the kind of emotions that you're generating. Because it can't come to fruition without going through that space in between. I see you nodding, Jen.
And my internet appears to be back. Woohoo!
It's good now, yeah.
So interesting that you describe drama in that way, and I'm typing notes on here as well, so that's just for my own processing as well. But a lot of people think that drama is something that's kind of like thrown at us. It's like our external environment tossing a bunch of crap at us, so that we struggle with those feelings and those thoughts that are not aligned. So, what would be your response to that?
Well, so absolutely, because we are in this collective experience, of course, you're going to be impacted by the things that are happening in your external world. What my perspective is calling you to your awareness of how you're interacting with the things that are going on externally, because that's actually what's creating your experience. How you think about things, your perspective, your beliefs. And we know this, right? So whatever your thoughts, beliefs, and perspectives are, that's going to influence your emotional response. And if you don't get hooked into the things that are happening outside and you can just watch and witness it, doesn't bother you. Sort of like if a 2-year-old throws a temper tantrum, you can look at the 2-year-old and be like, oh, it's almost like, isn't that cute? Right? Because you understand, right, that they're just in the middle of their tantrum, right? And in 2 minutes, it's going to be done. They will have forgotten about it and they'll be off like playing at the next thing, right? And yet, when we look at the external world in what we call reality, we don't have that same way of being detached from it. So it's like when you watch the 2-year-old, it doesn't bother you because you can see there's a process playing out that you don't have to get hooked into. So it's not drama because you don't internalize it as drama. Now, the things that are happening in our adult experience, especially when it comes to relationships, when it comes to career, when it comes to finances and health, those tend to be the 4 big areas where people can tend to get hooked into drama thinking in a way that there are thoughts that, again, they're just really disempowering. They come from a lower vibrational frequency. And they just generally feel negative. They tank your energy. So part of the process of drama proofing your mind or untangling the drama in your life is actually cultivating more of a sense of your own inner alignment, is a terminology I like to use. And it's alignment with your own inner truth. Coming back here and letting your own feeling be your compass so that you're not quite as susceptible to being hooked into or triggered by what's happening externally. Does that answer your question, Jen?
It does. It does. And one of the things I really appreciated about when I was working with you a few years ago was it's not that we should ignore the feelings that are come up, because they're very valid feelings. Like you had explained to us as we were working with you in a group program, is we had to process those feelings in order to get to the other side. I think you called it the breakdown before the breakthrough, is we needed to let those things be, not ignore them, acknowledge them for what they were, so that we could get to the other side of that. And I know a lot of people today are processing a lot, emotions, thoughts, everything. So do you have like a fast and dirty for how we can like prioritize or figure out like how we can get through that to get to the
fast
breakthrough?
and dirty is what nobody wants to hear. And it's be where you are. It's you got to be in it in order to be to the other side. So just to build on what you're saying, Jen, and I'm so glad that you brought that into this space because it is a super important part of this conversation. I'm really understanding how energy works with you as this beautiful spiritual being in this freaking wild human experience where everything's like cracked open, going crazy right now. Of course, you're going to have these like emotional responses, everything from like shock and disempowerment and powerlessness, hopelessness, worthlessness, to fear and anxiety, depression, anger, right? Like the whole range is there right now. And from the perspective of the soul, it's actually really important to be in that experience because it's part of a contraction that will lead to an expansion. And that's what the breakdown before the breakthrough process is. It's a pulsing. And everything in life grows through pulsing. Everything in life has a rhythm to it. So the moon waxes and wanes. The seasons go through death and rebirth. The ocean ebbs and flows. The tide ebbs and flows. Everything goes through this movement because energy is always moving. It never stops. And that includes the energy of your soul expanding through you. And so that going into those deep, dark emotions, letting them be there, letting yourself feel them, will naturally help you rise. Where people get into drama, and that's not drama. To make a very clear distinction, that's not drama. That's being authentic in your experience. Drama is when you try to repress it. Drama is when you sidestep it. Drama is when you blame it on somebody else or try to hand the responsibility to someone, as opposed to taking responsibility for your experience and saying, you know, I feel like crap right now. I'm going to let that be okay. And so the quick and dirty is to let it be okay. And I always like to say, give it a 5-minute funeral. Like, give yourself 5 minutes. Just go have a fit. Punch a pillow, scream in your car, you know, scribble it out, go for a run, like really give that energy somewhere to go. But it's a way of honoring it as opposed to suppressing it. And suppressing it is what will build drama every time, because then it sits, it gets stuck in your system. You're feeling like crap, and your brain starts to go wild, starts to come up with stories, starts to have arguments in your head, right? And all of that, that's only influencing your vibration because this energy is stuck. You want to get it out. So you want to get it out through generally some kind of taking action to just let it go. And here's what's interesting. Biochemically, once you let yourself actually tune into and feel an emotion, the half-life of the chemical in your system is like 90 seconds.
Oh, interesting.
Super fast.
Wow.
Think about it. If you've had a time where like you got super pissed and you just like raw had like a primal scream or something like that, like it doesn't take that long for you to feel better. It's when you hold it in and you sit there and you wash the dishes stewing. And then you go get in the shower and you're still stewing, right? And then you brush your teeth and and now you're stewing up to here. The energy is going to build if you don't give it an outlet. And that's when it's drama. That's when it's drama, because then it's probably going to come out sideways in a conversation. It's going to come out through slamming doors, stomping off, you know, nasty texts.
Yeah. It almost sounds like allowing yourself, this is maybe not the right terminology, but allowing yourself to indulge whatever that experience is to the fullest. Like, go with it. Like, go entirely 100% in with whatever that experience is.
Yeah.
And then, go ahead.
You go.
And then it will process through. It might even take as short as 90 seconds for those chemicals to get out of you, you know, to clear the toxins. But that 5-minute funeral, I mean, who doesn't have 5 minutes to really be with that? And then maybe release it after that.
Yep. Because you'll let it out in little spurts. And whatever you were carrying that leaves, it doesn't come back. It's gone. That energy is
We lost you for a second. Are you frozen? Say hi when you can hear us.
Give it time. So, okay, now?
Yes, now. Now.
More time? Okay. So, I'm not sure where you lost me.
I don't know. It was spotty for a bit.
Okay. 5-minute funeral?
Yes.
I was just saying that whatever energy you let go of during that time, it's never coming back.
Yes.
It's gone for good. That layer of inner schmutz, gone. And that means that the next time that same kind of drama comes into your life, you're a little different. Let go of some of it. It's not going to be as toxic in your system as it was before. So there are these like micro increments of change that happen. But when you do that over time, you heal.
Mm.
And the other thing about that too is that what you're doing when you give it a 5-minute funeral, I would say, going to say up to 15 minutes, but don't give it more than that. Give it a set amount of time. When you do that, you're honoring yourself. And self-honoring is one of the most healing energies that there is. Because what you're doing is you're being present to your soul's experience, your soul's expansion through you. You're being present to your tender heart, to your beautiful mind, your beautiful everything, right? Your experience. And it's temporary, it's going to move. But it's that self-honoring that is just, that's a game changer. And if you want to talk about how to drama-proof your mind, how to really drama-proof, live in a drama-free way, the number one thing is self-honoring. Listening to yourself, honoring yourself. And sometimes in those instances, it comes through just be where you are, even if it feels yucky, because it's temporary. It's going to move.
Mm. Yeah, that's such a relief to hear you share that, because I think the fear we hold on to is that if we indulge or experience it to the fullest, it's going to stay with us even longer. But you're saying that that's not the case. In fact, it releasing small bursts of it, just like we sometimes get rid of that again, it will take its time, but it's temporary. It's just a small piece of the experience, but it's also the most healing thing to do.
Yes, absolutely. It's
I think we're back.
yeah, you're good. You're a little choppy again, but yeah. So it's incredibly healing. It's incredibly powerful, and there's so much more that we can go into on this. But I mean, I would say that that's really sort of um, like the nuts and bolts of cultivating a drama-free way of life. And you're frozen again.
Awesome. Speaking of Drama Freeway, I just want to throw it out there. This is one of out if you want to check her out on Amazon or anywhere she sells her book. Now, I wanted to show
version.
her. And yes.
Yeah. I have studied with Bob
Tell
Proctor.
us a little bit about your experience about that experience
or what? I didn't hear the last part of the question.
Surprised you about working with Bob Proctor?
Okay. So for me, working with Bob Proctor, it was a really interesting journey. To be honest, it was a little bit of a personal challenge to myself because I signed up for his most elite program, and I did it in the time when I was in my most emotionally and financially vulnerable time of my life. I was going through a divorce and was in a place where I didn't know how I was going to. I'd always had sort of financial stability through either working in a corporate world or being married and having dual income household, and I didn't know how I was going to make that transition with just running my business at that point based on where I was in that cultivation process. And so it was kind of a personal challenge to me to be able to manifest the amount of money it took to get there. And I spent the better part of a year studying Bob Proctor's stuff online and putting into practice everything that I learned. And I mean, it was interesting that the goal was then to go get to Bob Proctor, which I was able to do. The fun thing was that I set it was a 6-month manifestation goal, and up until the last day. It took up until the last day to attract in the sum of money that it took to get there. So that in and of itself was a huge learning experience. part of the reason why I did it was because when I heard about this program, it was like a hell yes in my system, just like everything lined up, lit up in me. I knew I had to be there. And part of it was because I really wanted to understand this process of manifestation and the process of working with the law of attraction. I thought, man, if I'm going to be working with other people on this, I better damn well know how to do it for myself. So that was the intention. And then I got there and I realized that, it's so interesting. We put people on experiences in this like high place. And at the end of the day, people are just people. And it was really fun to meet Bob Proctor himself. I would say the first thing that surprised me is he's tall. He's really tall. I'd seen him, of course,
Oh,
like camera and stuff, but when I met him, I was like, wow. But he was really delightful and of course, very present. It was fun to watch him, the level of presence that he has. He's got almost a certain amount of he almost carries like a regalness or a majesty about him, and he's incredibly intuitive. That's something that surprised me too, that he could he could look at someone and he knows what's going on. And so that surprised me. And it was just fun to be in the room with him and watch him work. There were 16 of us in that group. So it was pretty small and intimate setting. We were together in Hawaii for 6 days. And it was just it was an interesting time, interesting experience. But certainly I learned a lot about being in this business because obviously I'm in the same kind of field, and so I learned a lot about the things that I like about those kinds of events, the things that I would do differently for my kind of events, and it was just a really great learning experience. But he was delightful.
well, thank you for sharing some of those insights because, it sounds like the journey to get to study with him in Hawaii was beautiful, but the journey was the bigger piece of the learning there for you. Obviously, it was a long road for you. It was something you had worked on manifesting for some time. And like you said, you were going through a lot of emotional things at that time in your life. So I can imagine the journey there was just as powerful for you as the actual experience itself.
Yeah. Yeah, Jen, I don't know if you knew this, but all of the study that I did, and it wasn't just Bob Proctor stuff, it was a lot of other books around manifestation and spirituality and that kind of thing. Everything that I learned in that experience actually got built into the Lead in Alignment program. So everything that's in Lead in Alignment, almost everything that I learned through that process and then some, because Lead in Alignment also includes like the neuroscience of being a spiritual being in the human experience and your anatomy of intuition, how your intuitive system works to guide you towards what's best for you. That was a little bit separate, but almost everything else is what I learned in that process. And I wanted to take it and package it so that I could offer it to other people. And at this juncture, it's mostly women I work with. So that they can learn that all of these different components are what I like to call the mechanics of manifestation, so that you can go and rock your own life.
Awesome.
Really, well, thriving life for yourself.
That's beautiful to know. And for those of you who are watching, know that I'll be posting the links to some of her work and Jennifer's website, so you can check out this Lead in Alignment program, which we've been talking about. I did one of her first versions of the group program. Now it's shifted to an online course, I believe. Before we get to that, though, Jennifer, I'd love to chat a little bit. You have so many modalities under your belt, from advanced degrees to Akashic Records consulting. So, you have such a wide variety of tools to choose from when you're supporting your clients. What is your favorite?
Jen, that's like asking me to choose between my shoes.
Impossible.
I love them all. But I will say that at this particular juncture, I'm really, I think I'm most heavily invested in and most loving. I mean, I love the programs. I love my online courses. I love Lead in Alignment because I love teaching all of the mechanics of manifestation and this, spiritually embodying your human experience. But I'm really hot to trot right now with the Akashic Records. So for anyone who doesn't know, the Akashic Records are basically like the records of your soul. So all of the information about your soul in your journey through this lifetime and across all lifetimes. If we want to talk about it in scientific terms, we could call it the matrix or the quantum field. It's this intangible field of energy where all the information is stored. And so each individual person has their own Akashic records. So I do private consulting to help people access the information from their own Akashic records. My role is to be like an interpreter. So I will help them. They'll come with their questions and want to know about their soul's journey, relationships, career path, parenting. I mean, all sorts of things. And we'll look in the Akashic records and get whatever information is in their highest good for them to receive at that time. And I'm just the interpreter then to help pull that information through. So that's one part of the Akashic Records work. The other part, which I super love, it's really fun, I love it all, is I actually train groups of women to access the Akashic Records. So I help them learn how to do that work for themselves, first and foremost, for their own healing, for their own elevation and raising their vibration, because this is very high frequency energy we're working with. And then for some, they'll go on and they'll learn how to do that work with their clients if they're in that kind of a profession. So
that's a very unique spin on
the gifts of my life. I mean, it's just one of the greatest gifts. It's just such an honor, and it's really it becomes a magical way of living. It's beautiful.
I can hear how I can hear how special it is to you. So thank you for sharing that from your heart.
We're talking about this. It's a way of taking your brain mind and consciously connecting with this non-physical space and getting the information from there and really feeling the incredible love that is held for all of us. Because everything that's in that higher dimensional space, it comes from pure love. And that's why love feels so good to us, because, when we're in a space of love, we're in perfect resonance with our souls. So that's what the Akasha is. It's a place of pure love and pure light, and that holds all the information. So it's a really sweet space to be.
Awesome. Well, I've had my own Akashic Records experience through you, and it is a wild ride. So if you're listening and you're like, what is this? I keep hearing about this Akashic Records thing. And I think you gave a great description of it, including the scientific terms we may have heard before. It is a wild experience. So if you've never experienced it, I encourage you to seek it out, at least just to see it, just to be curious. Like maybe it will allow you to tap into that as well. It's not for everyone. I mean, but you, Jennifer,
if it sparks for you, that's an intuitive impulse, and follow that. If it doesn't, great, yay, let it go. But I would say, Jen, for anyone who's curious, on my website, jenniferally.com, there is a tab for Akashic Records. You can learn more there, and you can actually book a trial session there as well if it's something that you want to check out.
Ooh, I love that. I encourage everyone to jump right on that. I'm popping the link in the comments there. So please check that out. Mm-hmm. It has been wonderful, despite technology, Jennifer, to connect with you and learn more.
Technology. It's all perfect.
It is. It is. It was meant to be. But I would love to give you the opportunity to share. You shared that we can do a free consultation for Akashic Records. Is there anything else on your mind or heart?
Trial consultation. So
a trial
consultation. Yep. So there is a cost that goes with it, but it's reduced. So
what else would you like to share with us from your toolbox?
Yeah. So, I guess I can share too that this summer I actually will be training a group of women to access the Akashic Records. So if that's something that's sparking for you and you want to go deeper into that, I encourage you. That's also on my webpage. You can learn more about that. And for that, you can have a free consultation with me to evaluate whether or not it's something that's a right fit for you. So I have that coming up. The other thing I would say is Jen's going to be sharing with you a link where you can get the first 3 chapters of the Drama Free Way book and learn more about drama, where it comes from, why we have it, how it works as an addiction, and then how you start to unravel that in your life by cultivating a life of inner alignment. You can get the first 3 chapters, and that comes with a 1-week mini course, a free 1-week mini course, just a series of videos that you get delivered to your inbox, a fresh one every day. They're about 5 minutes long, but it's a way that you can start to really immerse your mind in these concepts, because that's really the pathway of your own ascension, your own awakening, really starting to separate yourself from the chaos of the world and come home to this place of beautiful inner alignment that's always available to you. So, but it really takes that following your impulses and your intuitions to the things that call to you, and then immersing yourself in this kind of material. So we're going to have some free stuff available for you for that. And I know Jen's going to share that. Are you still there, Jen? We're going to wrap up
over the next 5 minutes or so. We're still here. Yeah, Jennifer, does that small course that comes with the 3 chapters, does a small course include you with your whiteboard?
No whiteboard, but includes me.
Okay, we get more, Jennifer. I
think I have the whiteboard on that one. So, but they're just because they're just short 5-minute videos. Oh my gosh, if we're going to do all this, I need you for at least 10 minutes.
Well, I've gotten used to Jennifer and her whiteboard. It's great. It's kind of part of her trademark, like one of those things. So,
like I said, this thing traveled cross country with me in the Sexy Beast.
The Sexy Beast. I love that story, by the way. Well, we are just about to wrap up. It has been a wonderful experience here with you today, Jennifer. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and soul with us, your mechanics of manifestation, which I think you did a brilliant job of sharing in the small time we had today. Yeah. But if you are curious to connect with Jennifer more, please check out the things she shared with us, the Akashic Records Consultation, the group program she's going to lead coming up this summer for women who want to access Akashic Records, either in service to others or for themselves. Yep. Get those 3 free chapters of her book and the course, because she will help you figure this out in your own life.
Oh, and can I share one more thing?
Absolutely.
Like 2 weeks from today, on May 19th at 1:00 Eastern time, so noon Central, I'm going to be having a free webinar. So I have a webinar series that, Jen, I'm going to swear when I say this. The webinar series is called Rock the Shit Out of Life. And every month I offer free webinar, but I like to call it a Zoom Fest because it just sounds so much more fun than a webinar. This month's theme is the anatomy of intuition for the empowered woman. And we're going to be going through how your human system is built to understand the calling of your soul. And so you're going to learn the anatomy of that so that you can honor your intuition and follow it more, so you can be more in alignment with where your soul is leading you, and you can rock the shit out of life. So that's going to be another fun thing coming up. So anyone who wants to join for that too, Jen, I can share the link for that with you as well. So anyone can sign up for that.
Please do. And remind me of the date again.
2 weeks from today, May 19th at
May 19th
Eastern time.
Okay. I just posted a comment about that. Yeah. I look forward to seeing where that goes and who can sign up for that. Thank you again, Jennifer, for sharing. As we're wrapping up, I just want to share with those of you who are listening live or on the replay, if you had to hop off, totally cool. Let me know in the comments, #replay, if you're watching this replay. And you can also share. So we appreciate you sharing this content with your folks and your community, so we can all learn how to drama-proof our minds and thrive in these times, because we should thrive every day, not just when we're struggling. So, yeah. And now that we have tools to do so. Also, I want to let you know, if you're watching and you're new to my page, I do offer guest expert interviews every month. And next month, I'm going to be featuring Linda Bobolick. She's from Canada, our Northern Canadian friend out there. They're still under shelter in place, unfortunately. But she will be coming to talk about a zesty life, which sounds super fun, June 9th at 9 a.m. Central Time. So make sure to like my page, RSVP to the event. We will be happy to have you. In the meanwhile, this replay of this video, you can still watch it through Saturday, May 8th. May 8th, yes. So make sure to comment and share and ask Jennifer your questions. I will make sure she sees them.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Jen. And thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm happy to.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great evening and we'll talk soon.
All right. Lots of blessings. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.